Imagine digging into human history and discovering something that doesn't just add a new chapter, but might actually rewrite the whole book. We're talking about an invention so fundamental, its origin story. Well, it might be thousands of years older than we ever thought possible. That's the electrifying possibility we're exploring today. We're doing a deep dive into the prehistoric lake settlement of Dispilio. It's nestled up in northern Greece. And we're zeroing in on this incredible artifact found there, the Dispilio tablet. Now, this isn't some, grand monument or a hidden treasure chest. It's actually just a humble piece of waterlogged wood. But it sparked this profound debate about the very origins of writing itself. So our mission here is to first understand the world of Dispilio, maybe glimpse the daily lives of the people who live there, and then really unpack the mystery of that enigmatic wooden tablet and some other engraved finds too. We'll look at the compelling evidence, the scientific dates that are really turning heads, and the ongoing scholarly discussion about whether these ancient symbols truly represent the earliest known form of written communication.
We're talking long, long before what conventional history suggests. Okay, so let's unpack this fascinating story. Now, to really grasp the significance of what we're about to uncover, we need first to understand the unique world these people lived in. Let's try and transport ourselves to this lakeside settlement. Dispilio, sometimes it's called Dupiakoi. It sits beautifully on the southern shore of Lake Orestius, near the modern village of Kastoria in northern Greece. It's a setting that just hints at incredible stories.
It really does. And the first hints of this ancient community, they actually surfaced way back in 1932. Professor A. Karamopoulos from Thessaloniki University, he found traces when the lake level dropped quite significantly. And this drop exposed numerous wooden piles just sticking out from the lake bottom.
Like the lake itself is revealing a secret.
Exactly, a sort of natural archaeological revelation. His finds even made the news back in 1938, and he went back in 1940. He was clearly hooked by what he'd seen.
But the real systematic work, the big dig, that started much later, right?
Much later, 1992. That's when the Aristotle University of Thessaloniki, under Professor G. Hormasiadis, who sadly passed away, started the modern excavations. And incredibly, these investigations are still ongoing today.
Still going. Wow.
Yeah, it's a huge site. They've uncovered over 5,000 square meters already, but the estimated area is maybe 17,000 square meters. And the lake's water levels are always fluctuating, so that really dictates when and how they can even work. It's a slow, painstaking process.
A real race against time and the elements. Okay, here's where it gets really interesting.
Well, what's truly fascinating here, and often surprises people, is just how long this site was actually used. The archaeology suggests Dispilio wasn't just a quick stop. It was continuously occupied for this incredibly long time. We're talking early Neolithic, maybe 6,000 BC, right through the Chalcolithic, around 1200 BC, even into the Mycenaean period.
That's millennia.
Absolutely. We've got radiocarbon dates for middle and late Neolithic layers between, say, 5470 and 4850 BC. And there's later Bronze Age evidence, too. This wasn't just a camp. It was a flourishing, long-standing community.
So a stable, enduring settlement. What did that tell us about how they actually lived? Those wooden piles sound like a major clue.
Oh, they're absolutely key, those extensive wooden piles. They give us a remarkable window into their architecture, the layout of homes, the materials they used, how they organized their space. The piles strongly suggest they built stilt houses, living right over the water.
Smart. For protection. Yeah. Access to the lake.
Probably both. Protection, easy access to resources like fish and water travel. It's worth mentioning, though, there's a modern reconstruction of lake dwellings nearby for tourists.
Ah, I've seen pictures of those.
Yeah, but it's a general model based on European examples. It's not a precise replica of what was at Dispilio. The real insights come from the actual finds. And the sheer wealth of finds paints such a vivid picture of their daily lives. We're talking everything from pottery shards, stone, and bone tools, to these incredible clay figurines. Some look human-like, others animal-like. Miniature representations, too.
Like little models?
Yeah, perhaps. And dietary evidence, too. Animal bones, fish bones, charred grains, fruits. This dive into their garbage tells us so much about their economy. They were clearly farming, raising animals, hunting, and definitely fishing. We found loads of bonefish hooks, and even traces of a boat described as identical to those used to this day by the fishermen of Kastoria.
Wow, that's an amazing link to the present day, isn't it? Makes you wonder. But, okay, beyond just surviving locally, what else did the site reveal? Were they isolated or connected?
Oh, definitely not isolated. That's one of the really surprising things. Think about finds like arrowheads, leaf-shaped and triangular ones made of obsidian.
Volcanic glass, right. Where did that come from?
Exactly. This specific type, it comes from Melos. That's an island maybe 700, 800 kilometers away.
Whoa. That implies serious travel and trade back then.
It absolutely does. Established trade routes, ways to transport goods, even across water, way back in the Neolithic. We also see pottery styles that look similar to ones found in nearby Balkan areas. So yeah, a dynamic society with connections far beyond the lakeshore. A pretty sophisticated economy, actually.
And the pottery itself, you mentioned.
Yeah.
It wasn't just functional, it evolved. Tells its own story.
It absolutely tells a story. What's remarkable is seeing this constant innovation in their ceramics. Imagine these craftspeople thousands of years ago, not just making basic pots, but refining their techniques. They went from these sleek, black, highly polished surfaces to warmer reds or red browns. Then back to dark burnished finishes later on in the late Neolithic. Shapes changed too. From simple spheres or hemispheres to more complex forms like biconical shapes, and a big increase in what we call carinated vessels. They have this sharp angle, like a shoulder.
Interesting. Different uses, maybe? Or just changing styles?
Could be both. They even had these huge storage jars, pithoi, sometimes taller than a person, found in specific layers, which suggests maybe communal storage or just how they organize space near the lake. And we see unique types, too, like boat-shaped pots, vessels with 4 little feet tetrapods, and fruit stand-type vessels. These were used for cooking or serving, it seems, and then they just stopped making them in later periods.
So it's not just about looks. It reflects a society that's adapting, changing, pushing their craft over millennia.
Precisely. A highly adaptable and dynamic society.
Okay, so we've got this vivid picture of daily life, a thriving, innovative community by the lake. But Dispilio holds a secret that, well, it kind of overshadows everything else. This next discovery, the star discovery, it didn't come from careful digging, did it? It almost like emerged.
That's exactly right. It was July 1993. During an excavation campaign, this wooden tablet just appeared, floating on the water surface in a trial trench near the shore.
Just floating there. Unbelievable.
Quite an appearance. Physically, it's a piece of wet cedar wood, roughly rectangular, maybe the size of a large paperback, about 23 by 19 centimeters, 2 centimeters thick, and it has traces of being burned at some point.
But the crucial part, the marks on it.
Exactly, the signs on its surface. Up to 10 rows of these linear carvings, vertical and horizontal lines, and some of them look strikingly like later Greek letters, like a delta, an epsilon, maybe a lambda.
Really? Like early Greek letters?
The resemblance is there. And similar carvings are apparently on the thin upper edge, too. Now, the only reason these signs survived for, 7,000 years? The anaerobic conditions underwater. No oxygen to decay the wood.
Lucky break for archaeology.
Huge lucky break. But also a challenge. When it was brought out, the drying process, it caused damage. Much of the original depth of the carvings was lost when it was exposed to oxygen, so it's currently undergoing very delicate scientific conservation, which means the full academic publication, the detailed analysis, is still pending.
Still waiting for the full story.
We are, and here's a really crucial point for anyone looking this up online. Many, probably most, of the images you see labeled Dispilio tablet are actually modern artistic recreations. They are not photos of the original artifact.
Oh, okay, that's important. So those drawings aren't accurate.
Often not even close. The lines can look very different. The only publicly available photo of the actual tablet is in a specific academic paper from 2014. It's vital to know that distinction. What you often see online isn't the real deal.
Good to know. A really important clarification in our visual world. So, okay, it's not just the wooden tablet then. There are other objects with similar symbols, suggesting something broader.
Precisely. That's the second group of really significant finds related to, let's call it ideology, a small number of clay artifacts that also have these distinctive signs. And they're clearly not just decoration. Archaeologists think they are message conveying.
Like what kind of objects?
Yeah, there's a clay cup with 2 rows of engraved signs running around it, a piece of pottery, a sherd with clear lambda-shaped signs, even a fragment of a polished clay object. Maybe another tablet with similar markings.
Okay, so multiple examples.
Yes, and others too. A brown clay bowl with lots of signs engraved on 3 parallel lines. A tiny handmade vase with sharp cuts around the rim and on the outside. A piece of one of those big pithos stars, remember? Engraved with what looks like a W seti. And a circular clay object, possibly another tablet. It even has 2 holes, like for mounting or hanging. And engravings between the holes that seem to form a sort of limited animal shape.
Wow. So it's definitely not just a one-off find. It feels like a system. What about the dating and context for these clay pieces?
Good question. They were found in nearby excavation squares in that same eastern trench area, but at various depths. Direct dating, like luminescence dating, that wasn't possible because they were waterlogged for so long.
Right.
So they were dated by association, by linking them to nearby layers that had been radiocarbon dated. For instance, some were in layers linked to a sample dating to around 5270 BC from the end of the Middle Neolithic. Others were with layers linked to a 4015 BC sample from the late Neolithic I period.
So broadly contemporary with the wooden tablet, reinforcing their age.
Exactly. It helps place them chronologically and strengthens the idea that this kind of marking was happening over a significant period.
Okay, this brings us right to the core of the whole thing, the debate. The big question, could these signs actually be rewriting history as we know it? Because the radiocarbon date for the wooden tablet itself, that's the game changer, isn't it?
It absolutely is. Dated to roughly 5260 BC, calibrated to about 5324-5079 BC with high probability. That makes it, hands down, the oldest known engraved wooden tablet ever found, over 7,000 years old.
7,000 years. And here's the kicker. That date puts the Dispilio tablet and those other engraved finds in a similar time frame to other early inscribed objects found in southeastern Europe, specifically around 5300 BC, which is, get this, some 2,000 years earlier than any other widely accepted writing system, like Sumerian cuneiform. That came much later in Mesopotamia, 3,000, 4,000 BC.
2 millennia earlier. It's staggering. And this raises that extremely important question. If these symbols are definitively proven to be, a primary source of written communication, it would force us to completely reconsider the history of writing, full stop. It would mean Neolithic societies, which we've always called pre-literate, or societies without writing, were actually far more sophisticated communicators than we thought.
It directly challenges that bedrock theory that writing started in Sumeria.
Directly challenges it. And what's also fascinating is comparing the signs themselves. These Dispilio signs, they look quite similar to signs found on artifacts from the Vinca culture.
Vinca, that was in the Balkans around the same time, right?
Roughly, yeah. Southern Balkans, maybe 5,500 to 4,000 BC, so contemporary or slightly earlier. And even more intriguingly, they bear some resemblance to the much, much later Linear A script.
Linear A, the undeciphered script from ancient Crete.
That's the one. Now, that's a huge leap in time, but the visual similarities are noted by researchers. The presence of similar symbols across different places, even if we don't know what they mean, suggests, well, maybe a shared cultural understanding or some kind of broader communication system we haven't grasped yet.
So we're looking at this profound challenge to the standard story. But what's the scholarly consensus right now? Is everyone convinced it's writing? Or is the jury still out?
Oh, the jury is very much still out. The scholarly community is deep in debate, and for good reason. Some scholars, yes, they argue these signs represent a specific script of literacy, real writing, but others are much more cautious. They see it as maybe proto-writing.
Proto-writing meaning?
Meaning like a system for recording limited information, maybe keeping tallies, counting animals, marking ownership, but not capturing complex language like a full script does. Professor Hermosiades himself, the lead excavator for so long, he was cautious. He suggested they might be Neolithic messages that we will never be able to decipher unless we find a key.
A Rosetta Stone for Dispilio.
Exactly. Without something like that, which could unlock the meaning, the full significance of these marks remains this incredible, tantalizing mystery.
So we've journeyed deep into the world of Dispilio. We've uncovered not just the daily life of this thriving, innovative Neolithic community, but also this astonishing enigma, the Dispilio tablet and its companion clay finds. This humble piece of wood, dated over 7,000 years ago, just stands there as this silent challenge to our established timelines of human literacy.
It really does. The signs are undeciphered. The tablet itself is still undergoing that delicate conservation work. And the debate, it continues quite actively within archaeology. Will that Rosetta Stone ever turn up? Maybe from the lake, maybe somewhere else. Who knows?
Only time will tell. So what does this all mean for us sitting here right now? If these symbols are indeed a form of early writing, what does that tell you about the ingenuity, the complexity of societies we may be unfairly labeled as primitive? How does this challenge our perceptions? How ideas were shared, how knowledge was preserved, how life was organized way back then?
It suggests a much richer, more complex mental world, perhaps.
Maybe consider this. The basic human drive, the need to record, to communicate, maybe it runs much deeper, is far more ancient than we ever realized. From these first carved symbols all the way to, our modern emojis.
It's a fundamental human impulse, perhaps.
An impulse stretching back millennia further than we thought.
Yeah.
Something to definitely mull over.